Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the story you thought was over might not have even started yet? What if the streets got it twisted, the industry buried it too fast, and the truth has been hiding in plain sight all along? Because right now, whispers are getting louder, and those whispers are saying, King Von might not be gone after all. Yeah, you heard me right. The same King Von who was declared dead years ago, allegedly just popped up on a secret island. And not just with anybody. Oh no, he was spotted with none other than Asian Doll. Now pause. Let's really think about this. Von and Asian Doll? On some private island escape? If this is real, then somebody's been lying big time. The industry, the labels, maybe even the courts. And if you think this is just another conspiracy, explain to me why multiple leaked snaps show Von alive, sipping drinks, with Asian right next to him like they never skipped a beat. Coincidence? Accident? Or are we watching the greatest resurrection story in hip-hop history? Stay locked in, because what I'm about to break down will make you question everything you thought you knew about King Von, Asian Doll, and the so-called death that shook the rap game. Alright, let's lay it all out. Because this isn't just another messy celebrity rumor. This is a type of story that makes you sit back, scratch your head, and ask, have we all been played? See, the names at the center of this whirlwind are King Von and Asian Doll. Two people whose names together already trigger instant drama. But now, with this alleged secret island getaway, the drama has evolved into something that feels less like tabloid gossip and more like an unsolved mystery. First, let's rewind. Everyone remembers the tragedy. The night Von was supposedly shot outside a club in Atlanta. The chaos, the sirens, the news headlines repeating, King Von dead at 26, like a broken record. We saw the footage, we read the reports, and the industry quickly mourned. Case closed, right? Wrong. Because ever since that night, whispers have followed. Fan theories, blurry screenshots, people claiming Von was spotted here and there, alive. But those whispers never really made it to the mainstream until now. Because according to new leaked footage, yes, leaked footage, which somehow always magically finds its way to the internet, Von was allegedly caught on camera looking very much alive. Not in some random hood, not in some grainy street cam shot, but chilling on a private island with, you guessed it, Asian Doll by his side. Now, before you roll your eyes, ask yourself this. Why do these so-called leaks always surface at the exact moment fans start to move on? It's almost like someone, somewhere, doesn't want us to forget Von. And who better to reignite the fire than Asian Doll, the woman who has spent years tying her image to Von's legacy. Let's not forget, Asian Doll wasn't just the girlfriend. She branded herself as the grieving widow of drill rap. She made merch, dropped emotional tributes, tattooed Von's face on her body. She lived off that connection. Every interview, every appearance, Von's name was attached. And people ate it up because fans love a tragic love story. But here's the kicker. If Von is still alive, then what exactly was Asian Doll grieving? What exactly was she selling? See how messy this gets? And let's not ignore the obvious contradiction. Asian Doll has been on podcasts cry her eyes out, saying, Von visits me in my dreams, and I'll never love again. Dramatic, heartbreaking stuff. Yet suddenly, there she is, supposedly sipping mojitos with a man she swore was gone forever. Does that sound like grief to you? Or does that sound like somebody running the longest scam in rap history? But let's dig deeper, because this island sighting doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's context, there's history, and when you lay it all out, it starts to look less like a rumor and more like a carefully staged act. For one, Von's death has always been suspicious. Remember the hospital confusion? First, he was dead. Then he was alive. Then dead again. News outlets contradicted each other in real time, almost like nobody actually knew what was happening. And when the dust settled, we were given a rushed funeral, quick burial, and zero transparency. Fans questioned why his body wasn't shown in an open casket, why autopsy photos never lined up, why so many details just felt off. And then came Asian Doll's theatrics. She claimed Von's spirit spoke to her. She tweeted private messages from the afterlife. She even said Von told her what clothes he wanted to be buried in. Excuse me? Are we really supposed to believe a rapper called his ex from the afterlife to discuss funeral fashion? Or was this just Asian doing what Asian does best, keeping her name trending? Now fast forward to this Bombshell Island footage. Suddenly, all those crazy fan theories don't sound so crazy anymore, because the internet is buzzing with alleged proof. Grainy clips of a man who looks eerily like Vaughn, his signature tattoos blurred, but visible if you pause just right, sitting next to a woman who is undeniably Asian doll. And here's where it gets even wilder. Anonymous sources claim this island is in the Caribbean, a luxury escape spot reserved for the ultra-rich and ultra-private. Translation? The kind of place you go when you don't want a world to know you're still alive. But let's be real, Vaughn and Asian weren't exactly subtle. They were seen jet skiing, dining at a beachside villa, and according to one eyewitness, arguing over who was supposed to order the lobster. Classic couple behavior, right? Except this couple isn't supposed to exist anymore. And of course, social media exploded. Fans went into full meltdown mode. Half the comments were screaming, "Vaughn alive? And this gotta be AI," while the other half dragged Asian for allegedly lying about her grief all these years. One viral tweet read, "So Asian doll had us crying with her, by her music, just for her to sneak off on vacation with Vaughn?" Another user wrote, "If Vaughn alive, then he faked death better than Tupac." The memes alone are enough to fuel a documentary. But pause, because this is where the real questions start. If Vaughn truly faked his death, why? Who benefits? And how deep does this go? Was it about escaping legal trouble? Was it about dodging enemies? Or was it a master plan to reinvent his career with even more mystique? Think about it. Nothing sells in hip-hop like a good conspiracy. Tupac, Biggie, Michael Jackson. Every legend gets rumors of still being alive. But Vaughn, if he's really been sipping cocktails on an island this whole time, then this isn't just a conspiracy. It's a scandal. And Asian doll's role? That's the million-dollar question. Was she in on it from day one, crying on podcasts while secretly planning a tropical rendezvous? Or did Vaughn reach out to her later, pulling her into the lie because he knew she'd do anything to stay attached to his name? Either way, it makes it look shady as hell. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just a messy love story. This is the type of plot twist that could shake the entire hip-hop world. Because if Vaughn is alive, then everything we've been told was a lie. The headlines, the tributes, the songs, the money made off his death. Imagine the lawsuits. Imagine the fallout. But before we even get to consequences, we need to break down the actual evidence, the so-called receipts that have the internet spiraling. Because trust me, they're messy, they're shaky, and they're controversial as hell. And that's exactly where we're heading next. And just when you thought the mystery couldn't get any deeper, buckle up, because the so-called vacation turns into something way bigger than anyone could have imagined. So here's where it gets wild. Multiple so-called anonymous insiders claim that this wasn't just a casual meetup between King Vaughn and Asian Doll. No, apparently, this was some type of orchestrated reunion. According to these whispers, Vaughn's name was never off the record. The man's been supposedly off the grid, moving in silence like a chess master, while Asian's been carefully sprinkling cryptic hints in her music and Instagram captions. You didn't notice? That's the point. They wanted only the sharp-eyed fans to connect the dots. One alleged source says, "This wasn't no accident. They've been plotting this for months. Vaughn been alive, moving in circles nobody can touch, and Asian was the only one who could keep the secret. That island was their escape spot." Now, pause for a second. If that's true, let's ask the obvious question. How in the world did Vaughn manage to stay hidden all this time? No paparazzi slip-ups? No blurry iPhone sightings? No ex-friends leaking voice notes? Apparently not. And that's exactly why the secret island getaway is driving fans into absolute chaos. On Twitter, people lost their minds. Some were convinced immediately. Vaughn alive? Asian Doll been covering this up the whole time. Others called it cap, labeling it nothing more than another conspiracy theory spiraling out of control. But the photo evidence, the grainy, badly lit snapshots of two figures looking a lot like Vaughn and Asian walking along the beach, has stirred a level of frenzy that no TMZ report could compete with. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The so-called island? It's allegedly a private slice of land owned by some mystery billionaire with heavy ties to the music industry. Coincidence? Or calculated hiding spot? These are the kinds of breadcrumbs people can't stop picking at. And then the money trail. Because no scandal feels real until the cash receipts hit the table. Allegedly, Vaughn's disappearance was backed by some pretty serious financial padding. Rumors say offshore accounts were opened months before his reported death, allegedly funneling millions into secrecy funds. Some claim the very same accounts were used to pay for private flights, top-level bodyguards, and, wait for it, luxury yachts spotted near the island. Let's not forget Asian Doll's role in all of this. She's not exactly innocent in the court of public opinion. People are dragging her, saying she's been complicit, that every teary-eyed interview and every candlelight vigil was just theater. Harsh? Maybe. But that's the internet for you. 1 second you're a grieving queen. The next, you're a mastermind in some reality-bending scheme. In fact, one leaked voicemail making rounds allegedly features a female voice, supposedly Asian, saying, "They'll never know. They think it's over, but it's just beginning." Real? Fake? Hard to tell. But you already know the fans have made up their minds. Let's talk public reaction. TikTok is on fire. Entire pages are dedicated to breaking down freeze frames of Vaughn's tattoos compared to the blurry island pics. Conspiracy videos with dramatic music and red circles pointing at his silhouette have been clocking millions of views. And Instagram? Let's just say the comment sections under Asian Doll's posts are unreadable at this point. Fans are dropping things like, "Sis, you've been lying this whole time? And where's Vaughn? Bring him back." Meanwhile, memes are flooding in too. People are joking that Vaughn staged his death better than Tupac, and some are even calling this a rap version of Fast and Furious. Family never dies. Because apparently, the internet just can't handle serious scandals without tossing in some sarcasm. But here's where it gets really spicy. A few supposed industry insiders claim that Vaughn's sudden reappearance, or at least a rumor of it, has shaken up record labels. Why? Because if he is alive, contracts signed after his death could be in total jeopardy. Think about it. Posthumous albums, tribute deals, merchandise. If all of that was based on the idea that he's gone and he's not, we're talking lawsuits. Massive ones. And then there's the street angle. Vaughn wasn't just some random artist. He had history, ties, beefs, unfinished business. If he really is out there, chilling on private islands and walking back into the spotlight, you better believe certain people aren't going to be too happy. One anonymous rapper, allegedly close to Vaughn, supposedly told a podcaster, "If Vaughn really alive, it ain't no fairy tale ending. That man had enemies. People gone come looking." Now let's not forget, this isn't just about Vaughn. Asian Doll is catching a whole different wave of attention. Some fans are calling her ride or die goals, saying she's the ultimate definition of loyalty for keeping her man's secret safe. Others, they're calling her manipulative, saying she milked Vaughn's death for clout, music sales, and interviews. So which is it? Queen of loyalty or mastermind of deception? The story keeps flipping. One moment it feels like a love story straight out of a Netflix docuseries. The next, it feels like one of the biggest scams hip-hop's ever seen. And in all of this, neither Asian nor Vaughn has come forward to confirm or deny anything, which, of course, only makes a conspiracy juicier. And don't even get me started on the fans who are treating this like the second coming of Tupac in Cuba. Whole forums are filled with debates, timestamps, and proof videos. Some are convinced this island sighting is just the beginning, that Vaughn's been building a comeback plan, secretly recording tracks, waiting for the perfect moment to drop the bomb. So let's ask the million-dollar question. If Vaughn is alive and he's with Asian Doll, what happens next? Does he make a comeback album that outsells everything in sight? Does he disappear again, letting the mystery grow until it's folklore? Or, and this one's for the skeptics, does this all collapse under the weight of photoshopped images and too much imagination? Whatever the case, one thing's clear. The culture's locked in. Vaughn and Asian Doll's Secret Island Getaway is now stamped into internet history, whether it's fact, fiction, or somewhere in between. And this is where things get tense. Because the deeper you dig, the more the lines between truth and conspiracy blur. And here's where things spiral out of control, ladies and gentlemen. Because once those island photos began circulating, once fans started piecing together the puzzle of King Von and Asian Doll's so-called secret getaway, the fallout wasn't just messy, it was volcanic. Suddenly, this wasn't just some social media chatter or a harmless rumor mill. No, this started to look like the scandal of the year. Why? Because if Vaughn is alive, if he's actually walking, talking, and jetting off the luxury island with Asian Doll, then that means one thing. Somebody, somewhere has been lying on a scale so massive, it makes Hollywood's fakest PR stunts look like kindergarten puppet shows. And the first cracks in the wall came from the authorities themselves. Yep, while blogs were busy milking the clicks and fans were either rejoicing or clutching their pearls, certain official sources started whispering to tabloids that there might actually be a case for, wait for it, fraudulent death certificates. Can you even imagine that headline? The man the streets mourned, the man memorial murals were painted for, might never have gone 6 feet under in the first place. Now, if that turns out to be true, what happens next? Well, let's just say the legal dominoes would start crashing one after another. Think lawsuits, federal probes, even RICO-level investigations. Because faking a death isn't just dramatic. It's expensive, illegal, and comes with a price tag of decades behind bars. But here's the kicker. Do you think Vaughn and Asian were hiding? Do you think they were laying low while this chaos unraveled? Not a chance. In fact, more so-called witnesses popped up swearing they saw the pair at high-end restaurants on that same island. One tourist allegedly snapped a picture of Vaughn slipping a huge diamond necklace over Asian's neck, right there at dinner, like they were starring in some kind of gangster romance film. And you better believe fans went ballistic. Social media lit up with hashtags like hashtag Vaughn alive, hashtag island secrets, hashtag Asian knew all along. But not everyone was celebrating. Some of Vaughn's old crew, some of the very people who were supposed to be his day ones, were suddenly spitting fire. If Vaughn's alive, one alleged insider ranted in a leaked voice memo, then we all been played. We put our lives on the line. We lost homies in the aftermath. And he's out here sipping cocktails by the ocean. That right there is where the controversy split in half. Half of the world rooting for a love story reborn. The other half furious at the possibility of being manipulated. And don't forget the money trail. Because while this drama was exploding, blogs dug up the receipts. Literally. Reports surfaced a shadowy trust fund funneling thousands every month into private offshore accounts. Some anonymous financial forensics expert even claimed the payments matched up with the time Vaughn was allegedly dead. Coincidence? Or the ultimate smoking gun? And ladies and gentlemen, let's not sugarcoat this. If these allegations are real, if money was moving to keep Vaughn's name in the graveyard while he was very much alive on an island, then a whole lot of powerful people could go down with him. We're talking label execs, promoters, managers, maybe even insurance companies that allegedly cashed in on his death. Imagine that. A death turned into a business strategy. But let's zoom back in on the island. Because while everyone else was panicking, Vaughn and Asian supposedly kept living like royalty. Yachts, 5-star villas, private chefs, the works. One anonymous island worker told a tabloid they acted like they didn't have a care in the world. It was like they thought no one could ever touch them. And that arrogance, that boldness, that's what fueled the backlash. Suddenly, you had people questioning the whole hip-hop game. If Vaughn faked his death, who else has done it? Was it all just smoke and mirrors to escape beef, duck cases, or, let's be real, to create the most shocking comeback in music history? Because, think about it, if Vaughn were to step back into the industry now, alive, after years of the world believing he was gone, wouldn't that break every chart, every record, every streaming platform in existence? Fans would flock, labels would salivate, and the streets? They probably burn with equal parts betrayal and celebration. But here's where the storm really takes over. The government. Yep, you heard me. Reports claim certain officials have already opened preliminary inquiries into suspicious offshore movements and potential fraud linked to Vaughn's estate. Which means this isn't just gossip anymore. This is starting to bleed into courtroom territory. And as for Asian Doll, well, let's just say she's not exactly off the hook either. If she's been with Vaughn this whole time, keeping the secret while still dropping music, interviews, and heartfelt tributes like he was gone, then a lot of fans are calling that straight-up betrayal. Some are even demanding boycotts of her music. Others? They're defending her like a ride-or-die queen, saying she stood by her man through the most extreme stunt in hip-hop history. But whether you're team exposed or team loyalty, the reality is this: the story doesn't end here. It's only getting bigger, messier, and more dangerous. Because what happens if Vaughn actually steps out publicly? What happens if tomorrow he drops a video, looks right into the camera, and says, "Yeah, I never died"? What now? Would he be a legend reborn or fraud who played the world? Would his legacy skyrocket or collapse under the weight of the biggest con in rap history? One thing's for sure, the island wasn't just a vacation. It was a warning shot, a sign that maybe, just maybe, everything we thought we knew about Vaughn's story has been flipped upside down. And ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because this ride is far from over. Ladies and gentlemen, what did we just witness together? A so-called dead rapper allegedly sipping champagne on a secret island with the very woman tied to his legacy, Asian Doll. If this doesn't make you question everything you've been told, I don't know what will. We follow the trail from leaked whispers, shady flight logs, blurry island photos, to bold claims from anonymous insiders who swear they saw it all unfold. And now, the bigger question isn't just whether King Vaughn is alive. It's why this entire story was covered up in the first place. Who benefits from keeping Vaughn dead? Why would Asian Doll risk everything to sneak away into the shadows if there wasn't more to this than just a vacation? And most importantly, what comes next? Are we about to see Vaughn make a shocking return to the music industry, dropping the biggest album comeback in history? Or is this all an elaborate distraction, designed to keep fans hooked while the real story brews behind the scenes? Either way, this is no ordinary hip-hop headline. This is a cultural earthquake. Now, I'll throw it back to you. Do you believe the Vaughn and Asian Island story? Or is this just another smoke and mirror distraction in the never-ending rap drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear every wild theory you've got. And hey, if you thought this was shocking, you better believe the next story we're digging into will blow this one out of the water. So make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to Celebrity Press, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single drop of the truth they don't want you to hear. Because here at Celebrity Press, we don't just spill the tea, we flood the entire table. Now tell me, if Vaughn is alive on a secret island, what else have they been lying to us about?